Age.
Hello everyone, welcome to our museum, and I am Kristen, one of your tour guides to explore the 7 different artworks of the 7th period. So now, let us go to the prehistoric era. Now, I'll give the chance for our presenter JP to share more knowledge about prehistoric era.
Thank you, Kristen. So now, we are here to the prehistoric era exhibit. Let's have fun and enjoy, and most importantly, let's listen. What comes to your mind when you hear the word prehistoric? This word, prehistoric. Prehistory? Is it old? Yes, we know that it's old. That is old. But did you know? This prehistoric is very much gold. Let's talk about the prehistoric era. Prehistoric era. It is the period, the use of the first stone on about 3.3 million years ago. Yes, 3.3 million years ago. The first human of this planet Earth is also called the hominids or the Homo sapiens. Now, let's talk about the prehistoric art. It's subdivided into 3 periods. The first one is the Paleolithic period, which is the Old Stone Age. The second one, the Mesolithic period, which is the New Stone Age. And the third one is the Neolithic period, which is the New Stone Age. New Stone Age, yes. The first evidence of human art is found in Chauvet, France, and Spain. Yes, France and Spain, in the continent of Europe. Yes. Did you know the paintings or these paintings are already found inside the cave? They are found inside the caves. Yes, this is the best example of the painting that found inside the cave. Some of the cave paintings are already painted on the top of others as if they be erased. Some are pierced with real arrow, and this suggests that it may use ritual before or after hunting. Yes. Did you know about the tools? The tools are used in hunting. They use for hunting, and they already sharpen it. They sharpen, they hunt, and then they will paint. Or after that, they will sharpen the tool, they will paint, or they will plan to hunt, and they will hunt from the other day. The tools that are used are the sharpened bone, special bone, occurring glass, and even animal bones or human bones.
So hello guys, so I am Yona, so I'll be your second tour guide after the previous turn of Kristen as your tour guide in the exhibit. So now, I would like to invite you to come with me to the second part of the exhibit, which is the Egyptian era.
Thank you, Yona. So now, I'll be showing you what this Egyptian had contributed in our classical artworks. Egypt is a famous country that consists paintings, sculpture, and architecture. This was discovered by Flinders Petrie. Their famous tower temple were built in 16th century BCE. It was made by limestone, sandstone. Perhaps they were created by an extremely large, diverse complex, including of their some sculptures that was shows that truly a creative making art sculptures. The giant sculpture has been restored with layers of blocks from the paw to tail. This is a mythical creature that was referenced by a lion. The combination of the human head of the human body symbolizes the supreme in strength and power. The lion symbolizes the king of the beast, and yet the beast is controlled by human intelligence. On to paintings. Early Egyptian art was functional and created for a practical purpose. A while later, art was intended for aesthetic pleasure. When the Egyptian art painted, a figure body parts was shown in its recognizable angle. The sizes of every figure in ancient Egypt is highly symbolic. For example, were the largest figures in paintings, symbolizing their dominance and power. The smallest figure were usually the peons, the little people as their work. This is also an example of pharaohs. On we'll be focusing on the sculptures. In the Middle Kingdom, we'll focus on the three kings. They were created in the 19th century BC. Remarkable wide party figures of Egypt. Eyebags deeply set, eyes, forehead, cheeks, they all sorrows. Now the question is, why is a king represented in the human way? I suggest that this is a form of idealize. For example, a wisdom is already aged. They are wise men. It's all about representations.
And then Greek. Now we have the Greek era, which is presented by Yona Mercado. Let us know more about this era. And yes.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the entrance of the classical period. And so for today, I'll be introducing to you the history and knowledge of the sculptures, paintings, and architecture of the Greek era. So before we get onto the exhibit, I have a question for all of you. When did the Greek art have started? Or have begun or gave birth upon to what it is now or already known for now? Any guess? Okay, let me share my experience to you and my learnings. So, in the geometric age of the 1000 years BC, they have said that art was not little that known for those years and also in the preceding 200 years. It is also traditional called as the Greek Dark Age. But by the 7th century BC, they have witnessed a slow development of the archaic style that is exemplified by the black figure style of the base painting. And throughout these years, they have developed morely the methods, the history, and the different designs that have involved and being part of the classical period artwork. So now let's get into the main content of this exhibit. Let me all introduce to you the paintings of the classical Greek era. So the paintings in this era were commonly found in vases, stones, and panels. It also depicts the natural figures and the dynamic composition of the different designs and styles of the painting. As well, most of their common subjects that are found in the paintings were the battle scenes of the god, the mythological figures, and also the everyday scenes or the everyday life of the Greek people. But throughout, the Greek art and the Greek paintings were not only intended for public display or to be designed to be shown in museums, but thoroughly, it was also given an expression about the importance and the accomplishments of the human beings. As well, even though there are only like 3 things that can be found as subjects in their paintings, they also give honor to their gods, in which they show a reflection of a human image or a human being to reflect on what is a god, who is have given them a life, or whom are they praised. After the base painting, I would like to introduce to you as well the panel painting and the tone painting. So in panel paintings, they are commonly found in flat panels of woods. And as well, they also are made out of either the tiny pieces, single pieces or several of panels that are joined and combined all together to create a beautiful masterpiece. And as of today, in our modern days, of course, pizza panel no longer exists due to the organic composition. So, everyone, I would like to introduce to all of you the pizza panel, which is the earliest known panel painting in the world. So the next one is the tomb and wall paintings, which are very popular in the Greek paintings. So the tomb and the wall paintings, from the name itself, were found in walls and tombs surfaces. And as of, they use the methods that I have introduced to you earlier, which are the encaustic, the fresco, and also tempera, which is a water-based pigment as well. And for the style of their painting, they have a sharp and flatly outlined style for the paintings. And due because of their water base, because if you have survived, one of them is the tomb of the diver painting. So in this painting, the image was created using a true fresco technique with a limestone mortar. And as well, it depicts a symposium scene on the wall. They give focus to the shades and hues of the paintings to show the depth and alike more feeling. So next are the Greek sculptures. So the early Greek sculptures were known for the tense and steep styles. And as well, the bodies were covered and hidden by the enfoldment of robes. But after 3 centuries of experiments, the Greek sculptures have evolved and have shown the human anatomy and proportion with the different points and more focus about it. One of the most popular Greek sculpture style was the Hellenistic style. One of the known Greek sculptures that have emphasized the Hellenistic style was the Myron the Discobolus of the 450 BC. Throughout the artwork, it shows an attitude of maximum tension with a full compressed energy and about to explode an action. So now, let's move on to the Greek architecture. So the Greek people, or the people who have lived in those periods, have built buildings for the government and as well temples that consist central shrine or room in an aisle surrounded by rows of columns. And as well, there are also 3 columns or 3 styles of the Greek architecture that have developed. Because of the simple style, the Doric is most easily recognized by the simple circular capitals at the top of the columns. It also have a flat volutes. So the second order is the Ionic order. Ionic order is also recognizable because of the columns as of the base and the shafts and as well the volutes on top. In Ionic order, it is different from the first one, which is the Doric. Why? In Doric, they only have simple and flat volutes on top. Unlike in Ionic, it have spiral-shaped volutes as a design of the column or the order. Last but not the least is the Corinthian order. This is the last that have been developed by the style of the architectural style of the Greek architecture. It is characterized by the slender fluted columns and elaborated capitals that have designs of acanthus leaves and scrolls. Now, I would like to show to all of you the greatest classical temple of the Greek architecture, which is the Parthenon. The Parthenon was ingeniously designed to correct an optical illusions. And as of the architectural manners and styles, they have used the Ionic and Doric orders to add some of the flares of the classical. For the last, if you will know about the Greek art, they don't really have told the mosaics, but throughout a little bit of investigation, they have already made some of the mosaic, but it is only little known of their artworks, such as this one. This is a mosaic that are made out of papers, rocks, small pieces, and other materials or indigenous materials to create the artwork. The mosaic's point of view is to create a picture of or an image that only using some things, small things like stones, rocks, and like what I have said, indigenous materials to portray the image. So, thank you everyone for listening and coming to the Greek era exhibit, and I hope you have learned something about the classical Greek art. So, you may now proceed to the next room, which is the Roman era.
Thank you. So now, I will give you a little knowledge about the Roman era. Hi guys, it's me Marcelo Boy V. Zamora. So for today's video, we will talk about the Roman era and their sculpture, paintings, and architectures. So let's talk about a short history of it. The Roman Empire was first founded by Augustus Caesar when he proclaimed himself the first emperor of Rome in 31 BC, and it also ended in 1453 CE. So let's talk about their paintings. Most of their paintings were copied or imitated in Hellenic Greek paintings. Roman paintings have a wide variety of subjects like animals, everyday life, still life, mythological subjects, portraits, and landscapes. One of their famous artwork is the mosaic. Mosaic is a pattern or image made of small regular or irregular pieces of a stone, glass, or ceramic held in place. Plaster, mortar, covering, and mosaics are often used as floor and wall decoration and were particularly popular in an ancient Roman world.
Lastly, we have the Romanesque era that is presented by Kyle. So let us listen to his presentation.
And lastly, we have the Romanesque period.
Hi, I hope you're having a pleasant day. I'm Kyle Agrippa Artashenti, Romanesque art. Romanesque art is the art of the Europe released in 1000 AD to the rise of Gothic art in the 12th century. Romanesque art. Romanesque art is the art of the Europe released in 1000 AD to the rise of Gothic art in the 12th century.
The painting of the Romanesque art. First of all, we have the manuscript illustrations. This is where multiple schools came together to create manuscript illustrations like the Three Magi. The Three Magi, or the Three Wise Men, is an act gotten from the Gospel of Matthew, and this is also in Christian tradition, as to where the people who visited Christ in his birth. The second is mural paintings. Mural paintings were made due to the lack of color in their decor, thus evolving into wall murals. Like the Apse of Saint Clement de Toll, which is one of the masterpieces of the Romanesque era, from where the Masters of Toll was first known. Next to wall murals, we have the sculptures. Most of the sculpting came from the manuscript illustrations or sculpting in various metals like metal and ivory. Precious metals valued higher in this era, mostly shown by the media. An example of sculptures are the Gloucester's candlesticks, made in the early 12th century. The last one of the Romanesque arts, we have the Romanesque architectures. This is where the buildings are most likely to be religious buildings, like churches, which can be characterized from certain circular arches. For example, the Tom Collegiate Church that can be found. For now, that's all. Thank you. And I hope you have a good time. For now, that's all. Thank you.
and I
So
hope
now
you
for
have
the
a
sixth
good
part of the exhibit, we are going to the Byzantine era. So let's go!
Thank you, Yona. Now, let me share my knowledge about the Byzantine art. Byzantine art originated and evolved from the Christianized Greek culture of the Eastern Roman Empire. Content from both Christianity and classical Greek mythology were artistically expressed through Hellenistic modes of style and the basis of Byzantine art is a fundamental artistic attitude held by the Byzantine Greeks, who, like their ancient Greek predecessors, were never satisfied with the play of forms alone, but stimulated an innate rationalism, endowed forms with life by associating them with a meaningful content. The Byzantine art gives more importance to the
The last one
symbolism
of
and
the
meaning of the art
Romanesque arts.
over the
We
realism
have the
of
Romanesque
peace.
architectures.
One of the most important
This is where the
genres
buildings
of
are most likely to be
Byzantine
religious
art was
buildings,
the
like
icon,
churches,
an image of
which can
Christ,
be characterized
the
from
Virgin,
certain
or a
circular
saint, used as
arches.
an object
For
of
example,
veneration
The Tom Collegiate Church
in
that can be
Orthodox
found in
churches
Julia.
and private homes alike. Icons were more religious than aesthetic in nature. Byzantine art was divided into three periods. Early Byzantine, 330 to 750. Middle Byzantine, 850 to 1204. Late Byzantine, 1261 to 1453. This stained glass design was painted using acrylic. I used permanent marker to draw the outline. The varnish for this design was white glue diluted in water.
Now guys, I'm inviting you to the last part of the exhibit, which is presented by your previous tour guide, Kristen. So now, I would like you to all to come with me and enjoy the explanations and the feeding of knowledge from Kristen's era.
Okay, hello everyone. We are going to tackle about Gothic period. But first, what is Gothic period? Gothic period refers to the style of European architecture and sculpture. This period is divided into three more periods: Early Gothic, High Gothic, and International Gothic. The themes used in Gothic period are dark, mysterious, supernatural, madness, and romance. Next, we are going to tackle about Gothic architecture. Gothic architecture is also called as French style, a style in Europe, particularly a style of masonry building characterized by covering new spaces with the expanse of walls. One example of its architecture is the Chartres Cathedral. Stained glass window panels rendered starkly sun-dappled interior effects. One of the earliest buildings to combine these elements into a coherent style was the Abbey of St. Denis. Britain, Germany, and Spain produced variation of this style, while Italian Gothic stood apart in its use of brick and marble rather than stone. Late Gothic architecture reached its height in Germany's vaulted hall churches. Other late Gothic styles include the British Perpendicular style and the French and Spanish Flamboyant style. Another example is Reims Cathedral and its interior. To Gothic art and paintings. Gothic paintings was practiced in four primary media: frescoes, panel painting, manuscript illumination, and stained glass. How do we define Gothic art? Gothic art is a style of medieval art. It developed in northern France. It also emerges in France in the early 12th century at the Abbey of St. Denis Church, built by Abbot Suger. And Lastly, we are going to tackle about stained glass. Stained glass used mainly black paint and clear or brightly colored glass was used. In the early 14th century, the use of compounds of silver painted on glass which was then fired allowed a number of variation of colors centered on yellows to be used with a clear glass in a single piece. So I made a example of stained glass. As you can see, I used a different variation of colors centered with yellow and uses a clear glass to paint this since stained glass.
And as well as for the last part, we will be having the trivia part of the exhibit. So I hope you will listen and enjoy this part as well.
So hi, a little bit of trivia about the Egyptian. Do you know that Tutankhamun's inner coffin was discovered and it was originally containing with 3 layers? It can be seen in the innermost of the 3rd layer were both made of pure gold. The coffin also engaged a very unique carvings and inscriptions. The coffin size was exact as the filling for the body. The coffin was covered with black liquid that serves as the anointing oil. Also, the Egyptians used the coffins to lead a natural life. Next trivia is the Mughal door. The top layer of the cover of the Mughal door was carved in a curvilinear scrolling, reminiscent of waves of the sea. The paint of it includes Hamitic. As also we can observe, it has a tan-like color. It has a carved design of 2 figures on the top of the handle and on its cover. The main purpose of the burial jar was to insert the bones of the dead body inside it. It was a secondary burial jar from a Neolithic period.
Hello guys! I will explain to you the difference between the Bulol and the Venus of Willendorf. First up, the difference between their physical characteristics. As the Venus of Willendorf, the characteristic of Venus Willendorf was having thin upper torso, largely exaggerated breasts, yes, large buttocks and thighs, and also large stomachs that symbolizes her fertility or her pregnancy. And the Bulol, as the physical appearances or physical characteristics, the Bulol are already carved using the Nara or apple wood and stones. The design consists of an ace, head, a torso, a pair of hands and legs mounted to platform of stability. The figure do show as well as him or her are placed within his bended knees. Yes, with his bended knees. And now, we will proceed to the symbolizes. First off, again, the Venus of Willendorf. Venus of Willendorf is already symbolizes her fertility symbol, while the Bulol is
Gothic architecture. The Gothic style evolved from Romanesque architecture, a medieval aesthetic characterized by arcs, vaulted ceilings, and small stained glass windows. To construct taller, more delicate buildings with thinner walls, Gothic architects employed flying buttresses for support. Pampanga's Capiz lantern. This lantern is made of translucent Capiz shells. Modern Capiz lanterns has more intricate design and colorful dancing lights attached to it.
So hey guys, so this is the last part of the trivia part of the exhibit, and I'll be explaining the comparison of the characteristics as well as the function of the Notre Dame Cathedral from Paris, France, and as well as the lovely church here at the Philippines, the San Sebastian Basilica or Church found in Quiapo, Manila. So let's start off with the characteristics. So this is the Notre Dame. So in the characteristics are designs of these both sacred places. At first, in the Notre Dame, the interior was developed by the points of structural elements. So as the period continuously developed, the building height increases as well as the width of the wall. Another thing about their interior or the design of the cathedral, they have placed and they have possessed as well the designs of the classical stained glass art in partake of their windows. So on the other way around, our own church was also inspired of the interior of the Gothic era architecture. So likely of the Notre Dame Cathedral, it also possesses the San Sebastian Church also possess a Gothic architectural designs. So the San Sebastian Church is observed to have two open work towers and also is made out of steel. So it is called as a steel vaulting. It was also noted by some of the architectures that it had possessed a revival of the Gothic style, that it is the only church to possess that kind of interior or structure here at the Philippines. So hey guys, congratulations for we have accomplished and we have all enjoyed to listen out what are the things of the artworks and history of the 7 periods. So thank you guys and thank you for listening. It is my pleasure as your tour guide and as well as in behalf of Kristen to have shown you the artworks of the Western classical era. So thank you so much and goodbye everyone. Hope you enjoy. Bye!